Where did you learn your work ethic?
When I went back to college, somebody said, the way to success in academics is just work harder than everyone else. And I thought that was an interesting notion, right? Because, in academics, it's all about brightness, right? And how smart you are, right? Presumably. And what I found is actually there were a lot of smart people there, and the things that distinguish. So here, let's just say that you have, the top, let's hypothetically, right? Just in the limit. The top 1% of folks in terms of IQ go into academics, which is not the case. I'm just saying, let's do this thought experiment. Okay, so you got the top 1% of anything, right? It could be the top 1% of athletes, or okay, you're already you have some talent, right? You're in the top of that game. What's going to distinguish you from the other people in that very elite group? And I think what distinguishes you is effort and commitment. So I thought that her advice around that, right? Her just we're just going to work harder. I thought that was a really good piece of advice, and I live by that.
Mm-hmm. And how has that come out in the work that you do?
When I went back to college, so I went back to college when I was 25 or 26 after dropping out. And I only had half the requisite credits that I needed to graduate, even though I had been in school for 3.5 years. So I really wanted to get my bachelor's degree as fast as I could. And I was very committed to doing really well. But I have decent intellectual capabilities, but I'm not a natural student. I have to work pretty hard at it. And what I did when I went back to college was for every class, let's say I was taking 5 classes, for every class, that first test, all I would do is study. I would really bust my butt to get into that first test and try as hard as I could, right, to get 100, right, whatever the score is, 100 an A, whatever. And then I'd get that first result back, and that'd be 4 or 6 weeks into the term. And that would kind of calibrate me as to how hard I had to work in that class going forward. And I really would. I was trying to optimize my the effort it would take to get a 4.0. And I knew that I couldn't keep that pace up for every class for the whole term. So what I did was I used that first 4 to 6 weeks period to figure out, to calibrate myself, and the classes that required more attention got more attention, right? So if I got an 89 HARS, shock, horror, I would really work very hard to get those grades up. I would, shift the time.
Right.
And I think it's actually the lesson there is that, it's not about gaming the system. It's really about you only have a finite amount of resources, and you got to kind of apply those resources into the areas that need them. And I think that's I would encourage people to do the same thing on their jobs. You're not going to be able to burn out. You're not going to be able to burn. For me anyway, I can't work 8 to 7. I just I can't do that, but I can do that for a little while. And so I would encourage people to think about what are the things they need to excel in, and concentrate their efforts there, and calibrate it, right? So.